For a while, Mila Kunis was absolutely everywhere, but today you'll rarely see her walk a red carpet. As it turns out, she purposefully removed herself from the hustle and bustle of Hollywood, and it seemed like this was her plan all along. Here are some of the reasons Mila Kunis stepped back from the spotlight. Even before Kunis started her family, she didn't have a very hopeful outlook on aging in Hollywood. If sun damage supposedly ages skin faster, the spotlight might as well been nuclear. Tinseltown is notoriously unkind to women, and back in 2013, Kunis was already gearing up for the backlash, even though she was, at the time, only 29 years old. In a 2013 interview with Playboy, Kunis admitted that, quote, "It's weird when you're older, as a woman." She explained that it's harder to land roles, and that it's not the same for men in the industry. Even though there are the Meryl Streeps of the world, she wasn't banking on becoming one of them. Kunis added, "Listen, I'd love to be like Meryl Streep, but I wouldn't presume or assume to be that. If I'm lucky enough to have a career remotely close to hers, great. If I'm not going with the expectation of having one." She went on to say that eventually it will all come down to whether audiences will still want to watch her on screen, and that's something she has no control over. She continued, "It's weird that at the age of 29 I'm talking about aging in this industry, but the truth is, I don't think I can do this for the rest of my life." Kunis might be spending far less time on screen than when she was a teenager starring in that 70s show, but the Golden Globe-nominated actress is still frequently on set. In her 2013 interview with Playboy, the star admitted that her dream was actually a role behind the scenes. She explained, "I want to be a producer. That's really what I want, because I love this work in a weird, sick way. But I also want a life. I want a family. Just like one day, not tomorrow." Not long after her Playboy interview, Kunis made her dream a reality. According to Deadline, the star launched her own production studio, Orchard Farm Productions, and signed a deal with ABC to produce TV projects for broadcast and cable. She's since served as executive producer for 2014's The Angriest Man in Brooklyn and 2017's A Bad Mom's Christmas. Kunis is the proud mother of a young daughter and baby boy, and she planned to be a very hands-on parent since the beginning. In a 2014 interview with W Magazine, the Ukrainian beauty admitted that she was excited to become a full-time mom, though she wasn't sure if she'd be sick of it after a year of not working. The idea of staying at home to raise her children is a stark contrast from the way Kunis grew up. According to A+, she came to the United States from the Ukraine on a religious refugee visa when she was a child. While both of her parents worked full-time jobs in the States, at least they worked in a single location. Kunis, however, told Playboy, "I'm never in the same place for more than 2 months. How am I ever going to have a family like that?" Instead, she wanted to be a more present mom, adding, "If that means I do 1 movie a year, if people still want to see me and hire me and I don't suck by that point, great. But my only source of happiness can't be dependent on something so fickle. And I find this industry to be incredibly fickle." By 2016, the star's acting career appeared to slow down. After having her second kid, it seems like Kunis simply wanted to spend more time at home. As her husband, Ashton Kutcher, told A+, "We'd like to allow our kids to make their own choices on whether to have a life in the public eye or not. We don't want to make the choice for them." Kunis can probably afford to focus on family as long as she wants, with a reported $65 million net worth. Kunis has been in the spotlight ever since she was 14 years old, when she lied about her age to land her breakout role on that 70s show, according to The Wrap. Needless to say, after more than 2 decades of stardom, she's absolutely sick of the paparazzi. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Kunis and Kutcher sued the Daily Mail in 2015 for, quote, "wrongful publication of paparazzi photographs of family outings." The actors were less than thrilled about the photos, which featured their then 1-year-old daughter and were reportedly used to hawk clothing. In a statement, their lawyer said, "Like any other family, they should be allowed to enjoy family outings without being pursued by photographers. They have made it clear that they do not agree to the publication of photographs of such occasions." According to The Times, the lawsuit was eventually settled for an undisclosed sum that was donated to a charity chosen by Kunis and Kutcher. But this is far from the only time Kunis has rallied against the paps. In an interview with Wired, Kunis called the Italian paparazzi crazy and evil. And according to Hollywood Life, she appeared to get into a screaming match with a photographer outside of her home in 2014, shortly after announcing her pregnancy. Beyond suing the Daily Mail, it seems like Kunis and Kutcher are pretty sick of the tabloids in general. It's been a long time dealing with dubious headlines. Thankfully, the actress seems to have a great sense of humor about it, even if she might find it annoying. In a 2019 Instagram post, the couple hilariously trolled In Touch Weekly, who had just published a story claiming the pair had split, that Kutcher had a dark secret, and that Kunis took the kids.
Babe, what's happening? What's going on?
It's over between us.
It's over between us?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what are we gonna do?
I felt suffocated.
You felt suffocated by me?
In the caption, Kutcher thanked the tabloid and wrote that he hoped they were having fun selling magazines that week. He wrote, "Maybe next week my wife will be having twins, for the third time, but who's counting?" Clearly, the longtime pair is not amused by the fake stories about them, but such is the life of an A-lister. It makes sense that Kunis would want to retreat from the public eye just a little bit, if only to avoid the dramatic headlines. Kunis garnered a Golden Globe nomination for her chaotically dark supporting role in Black Swan, but that doesn't mean she always viewed acting as her actual profession. Unlike the leagues of actors who absolutely live for the spotlight, the Hollywood starlet doesn't really think it's her main purpose. In an interview with W Magazine, Kunis admitted that she never wanted to be a totally business-minded person, saying, "To me, this job has always been a hobby that turned into a great profession, but I don't eat and breathe acting. I'm sure Meryl Streep has a very different point of view." Considering Kunis's view on her career, it's not really shocking that she'd slow down to find balance in other areas of her life. Between 2016 and 2017, Kunis only released 2 movies, Bad Moms and A Bad Moms Christmas. Apparently, she didn't even want to do Bad Moms at first, but the universe kind of forced her hand. According to the star's interview with Variety, the film had a different cast, but the actresses kept dropping out. It made her seriously question whether or not women actually did support other women and if they genuinely believed in a project with an all-female cast. If women don't support women, who else is going to? Kunis explained, "Women kept dropping out. Like, I don't know if anybody's going to want to see this movie. It's an all-female cast. I was pregnant and had a baby, so I wasn't even thinking about doing it. I was trying to make other people do it, and then enough time went by where my daughter got old enough and I was like, you know what? This movie just simply needs to be made." It's clear Kunis chose her acting projects very carefully after having children. She only made Bad Moms and its sequel because she felt like the films were important for women. And she signed on to The Spy Who Dumped Me for a similar reason. She had never worked with a female director in more than 2 decades of acting. Directing is a notoriously male-driven role. Even Kunis's female-centric Bad Moms had male directors. Though Kunis had planned to take the rest of the year off after filming A Bad Moms Christmas, she knew director Susanna Fogel needed her support. She told Variety, "I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I can't do 2 movies back to back. I have a newborn. Like, I can't travel. I didn't want to. My whole family moved as a tribe, and I was like, I can't do this." And my husband turns to me and goes, "You realize you've never worked with a female director." After her realization, Kunis was totally on board. While at times it might seem like Kunis disappeared from Hollywood, that's hardly the case. The star has had the same sitcom role for around 2 decades. You just don't ever see her face. To this day, Kunis still voices Meg Griffin on Fox's animated hit Family Guy. She signed on to the project during the 2nd season. According to an interview in GameSpy, the role was originally voiced by Mean Girls star Lacey Chabert. After recording the 1st season and part of the 2nd season, Chabert parted ways with the production because she was busy with school and filming Party of 5. Thankfully, Kunis ended up working out incredibly well. Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane actually thinks the Bad Mom star might have been a better fit for the role. He told IGN, "I say that Lacey did a phenomenal job, but there was something about Mila, something very natural about Mila. She was 15 when she started, so you were listening to a 15-year-old. Today, Kunis's voice is so recognizable that she told Graham Norton people often address her as her Family Guy character in public.
All the time. I will walk down the street and be like, "Shut up, Meg."
She also gets a pretty penny for her efforts. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the star makes somewhere between $175,000 to $225,000 per episode. As of November 2019, Hollywood hasn't seen Kunis's face on the big screen the entire year. The star's only movie project was a voice acting gig on a poorly received animated flick that had a bevy of problems from the very beginning. Paramount's Wonder Park should have been a success, but the reviews were largely negative, and it barely made back its $100 million production budget. If you haven't heard of Wonder Park, you're not alone. The film's name was changed after it found itself embroiled in not one, but two controversies. Back in 2018, when the film was still called Amusement Park, Paramount booted director Dylan Brown after multiple women filed complaints of, quote, inappropriate and unwanted conduct, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Dylan was never replaced, and the film chugged on without an official director. Things were shaken up again later that year when, according to The Wrap, the production replaced Emmy Award-winning actor Jeffrey Tambor. According to Deadline, Amazon opened an investigation on the former Transparent star following harassment allegations. In 2018, he was fired from both Transparent and Wonder Park. Fans didn't really see Kunis heavily promoting the troubled film, and it's not too hard to figure out why. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite celebs are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.